Welcome to the deep dive. Today, forget the usual topics for a moment. We're actually going to plunge into a comic book,
That's right, we're looking at Invincible.
and we want to use it to unpack something pretty universal. Failure and, well, how we bounce back from it. Resilience.
Exactly, because Invincible, it really isn't your typical caped crusader fare. Sure, you get the big fights, the spectacle,
Oh, yeah.
but underneath there's this incredibly compelling story about facing major, major setbacks. It's almost like a hidden masterclass in resilience.
Because we're so used to that narrative, aren't we? The hero always wins in the end. They struggle, sure, but victory. Guaranteed.
Right, Invincible just sort of shatters that expectation pretty much immediately.
Yeah, take Mark Grayson himself.
Yeah.
Invincible. Early on, he's got the powers. He's had some training from his dad.
And he's got this really hopeful, almost naive view of what being a hero means. Like, it's straightforward, save the day, job done.
But that optimism crashes into reality, like fast and hard.
Oh, absolutely. His first attempts at being a hero, they are messy. So messy.
He gets hurt, makes big mistakes.
And he actually loses.
Yes.
Like, properly gets defeated. These aren't just small stumbles either. They have consequences. Real weight.
You feel that initial terror he experiences,
Right.
facing something way stronger.
Definitely. And the guilt when things go wrong, Invincible doesn't sanitize that at all. It shows you the raw emotional fallout of failing when the stakes are high.
It really makes you think, doesn't it?
Right.
Powers are one thing, but you need so much more.
Exactly. And it sets the stage for this idea that failure isn't some rare exception on the hero's path in this universe.
No, it seems almost built in, like a recurring feature, not a bug.
Mm-hmm.
And nowhere is that clearer than, well, the huge one. The betrayal by his father, Omni-Man.
Oh, that moment. It's just seismic. This isn't some random villain reveal.
No.
This is the person he looked up to most, his model for heroism, turning out to be something else entirely. An enemy.
It cracks the very foundation of who he is, doesn't it?
Completely. It forces these huge questions. How do you even start to recover from a betrayal that deep? From someone you love?
How do you fight back when your closest ally is suddenly your most powerful, terrifying enemy?
And crucially, how do you fight someone that much stronger than you?
And the immediate answer the story gives is, well, you don't, really. Not in the way you'd expect.
Right, that first massive confrontation. Mark doesn't pull out a secret weapon or find some hidden strength to win.
No, he gets utterly crushed.
Right.
Physically broken, emotionally just wrecked. Humiliated.
It's brutal, so different from the usual trope where the underdog hero somehow finds a way. Here, it's just failure. Stark, painful failure.
But, and this is key, right? That crushing defeat isn't the end of his story.
Not at all. It's actually where the real story of his resilience begins. It's like the fire that forges it.
And what Invincible shows so well is that resilience isn't about being bulletproof or never feeling pain.
No, it's presented as an active choice, often a really painful one. It's the choice to keep going, keep getting up, even when everything in you wants to just stop.
You know, think about a time you face something really crushing. That instinct might be to just curl up.
Exactly. And Mark's ability to eventually come back from this, and it's never like instant or easy.
No.
It doesn't come from some blind optimism. It's actually born from experiencing that loss, that grief, that self-doubt.
He's seen the worst, felt the worst, and still chooses to try and protect people, even when his whole reality just got blown apart.
Yeah, it really makes you wonder about that inner drive, doesn't it? What keeps someone putting one foot in front of the other after something like that?
And the series suggests resilience is more than just taking a punch, physically.
Oh, much more. It's about learning to live with the guilt, the regrets, facing public criticism, maybe even hating yourself sometimes.
Feeling like you're not good enough.
Right. And despite all that, still finding a way to persevere, to show up.
It's like fighting an internal battle, isn't it? Refusing to be defined only by the times he fell short.
And that feels so human. Because none of us are perfect. We all mess up. We all fail.
But we also have this incredible capacity to endure, to keep going.
Uh-huh. And Invincible suggests that sometimes just refusing to let failure be the final word, that's heroic in itself.
You see that in everyday life, too, don't you? People facing setback after setback, but still pushing forward with what they care about.
Definitely. And if you trace Mark's whole journey, you see how these failures actually shape him. They don't just wound him, they change him.
They humble him, for sure.
Oh.
He loses that early arrogance.
Yeah, and they build empathy. He understands pain because he's felt it so intensely. He connects with people who are suffering.
So his reasons for fighting what he values It all gets deeper, more refined because of these struggles,
It's a powerful idea that our hardest times can actually give us clarity, shape our purpose.
which leads to thinking about the title itself, Invincible. Later in the story, it doesn't really mean he can't be hurt, does it?
No, not physically or emotionally untouchable. He still suffers a lot. He bleeds, he grieves, he loses people.
So Invincible becomes more about his spirit, his core resolve.
Exactly. It's about that refusal to let the pain, the trauma, the loss completely break him, to extinguish that fundamental part of him that keeps fighting.
It's an internal strength, not an external shield.
And that feels really relevant, I think, for anyone listening. You know, we live in a time that can feel pretty overwhelming.
Yeah, lots of uncertainty, setbacks can feel huge.
And Invincible doesn't give you easy answers. It shows resilience as this grinding, tough, sometimes heartbreaking process. It's often quiet.
Not always a big, triumphant comeback moment.
Sometimes it's just enduring, that quiet determination inside, that whisper of, I'm still here, even when things feel impossible. Maybe you felt that yourself.
I think everyone has at some point. It's that quiet grit.
Right. And Mark's journey really hammers home that failure isn't always the end point.
It can be the start of something deeper, a real test of who you are, what you're made of.
Resilience isn't about never getting knocked down. It's about finding the courage, again and again, to get back up, even knowing you might get knocked down again later.
That takes a specific kind of bravery, doesn't it?
It really does. And maybe that's the kind of heroism Invincible offers, not flawless victory, but perseverance.
Learning to live with the hurt, incorporating it, and moving forward anyway.
Yeah, a heroism that feels more suited to the messy reality we actually live in, where things don't always go right. It shifts the focus from just winning to enduring.
So ultimately, the message feels like failure isn't the end of the story.
No. In many ways, Invincible suggests it's where the real story, the more interesting story, actually starts.
That's a great point to end on.
So maybe something for you to think about as you go about your day. How does this picture of failure and resilience maybe reframe your own setbacks? Could it be that the most compelling part of your own story is actually being written right now in how you navigate the challenges you're facing?